amazing grace.
They announced as well laugh.
Yay. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Just taking a deep, beautiful breath as we land in this space and we begin our live experience of win-win-wins workshop number 1. It's actually so exciting for me because we've been holding win-win-wins in this world for a couple of years, and now finally we get to start sharing with people our intentions and our plan and our, just the beauty of a very simple methodology. So introductions, I'm Nikki Jackman.
And I'm Toto, Torsten Kremser. And together we are from Thrivors, thrivors.tv. It's kind of our vehicle to bring more joy to the world and to bring this message of win-win-wins to the world.
Yeah, and if I can dive in and just say that we are sitting in such an exciting time in our world. I've really been enjoying tuning into World Unity Week and experiencing so many beautiful contributors, people that are just such a stand already for a thriving and harmonious planet. And I think that it's such an important time for our planet for us to actually have simplicity and inclusivity in what it is that we're offering. And I think I speak on behalf of Toto and Ryan, our other partner, and myself, that all that we're offering is another name for something that is already being termed globally as, I mean, some of the terms are people, planet, profit, and even living in a way where we are a unified care for ourselves and for each other and this planet. So,
yeah. And it's so for us, what we're bringing across here today, what we're wanting to bring across today in this life skill room of the Global Convergence of the World Unity Week 2021 is this life skill of being able to live in a win-win-win way, to live in a way where each of us individually really feels that I'm winning, like me as a person, I'm winning with what I'm doing and with the people and relationships that I'm engaged with and the work that I'm doing and the products that I'm consuming, that I feel I'm winning. And that's, it's like, I feel like the I win part, most of humanity got covered pretty well. There's it's been kind of very present with us. And then the second win that we're bringing in is others win.
Which most business transactions people would do, So yeah. I'm going to do a business deal with you. You're going to purchase my product. I'm going to win and you're going to get the product. It's great. And what we're saying is that we really need to take it just a little bit deeper, a lot deeper, and consider the planet, consider the impact on the planet and the choices that we're making, whether or not it's actually harmful or supporting our planet to thrive.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a win-win. We all have heard about the win-win. When you win, we're going to make a deal. Both of us are going to get, win out of this. And then there's this like what's been left out a lot and which we know it brought us to the point where we're at today with the state of the world, where the world has been forgotten. The bigger picture has been forgotten in most of those decisions. It was okay that the two of us are winning, or like this small group of people, we're having this win-win situation. And then the bigger picture was just, left aside. And so we're bringing in with this now the third win, which is an infinite win. That's why it's wins. It's a win that keeps on rippling for the world, literally covering every single aspect. And we know that it is an ideal, right? It's the highest ideal for us to live up towards, to personally in our own lives. And we have experienced, and that's why we're bringing it in so many others' lives. What happens when we really like live up to the ideal, or like trying to live up to the ideal as much as we possibly can. And the ripple effects have spoken for themselves. And so that's what we're bringing here today. It's the win-win-wins. Mm-hmm. I win while others are winning, while the world wins simultaneously.
And I think it would be really interesting. We'll check on Facebook too. But if there's anybody who, you know, feels like there's examples of win-win-wins already in their lives, we really would like this experience to be as interactive as possible. And so we're just opening it out to you, to share with us if there's something that you feel is already an example in your life of living in a win-win-wins way, or even something that you're grappling with where you're like, how do we live in a win-win-wins way when there's this? Because we'd really like to digest it together. So
yeah, 100%. And we can't say that we get it right all the time.
No, we definitely can't.
That's why it's an idea, right? It's like something that we live towards to as we're becoming our best possible selves, and it's an ongoing journey. So win-wins is that North Star. And I can, you know, like a most recent example, like last week, I went to the other side of the country. We're in South Africa right now, in the Western Cape. And I went to the other side, it's like Durban, to visit some friends there who are living in a, I guess in a more of a community setup there. And, but not a permanent community, more like a, you know, they renting houses as they go along and kind of live their nomadic life. And as I visited them there, you know, the one thing that immediately stood out for me was that their trash wasn't separated, and it might be not a big deal for some of you, but for me, I don't know, it hurts me like to see that you know, the compost and the plastic and everything just goes into one trash, and that it even hurt them as well. I brought it up because I felt like, you know, it's not a win for the world in this case. It doesn't feel like this is a win-win-win situation, you know, living there and dropping stuff into trash. Sadly, there are no infrastructures or systems in place yet in that side of the country to take care of recycling and compost and those kind of things. So it's even pointless to separate it there for them. So again, because I had this win-win-win methodology in my heart, it brought it up immediately as like a, you know, as a conversation, and I could address it. And sometimes, like in that situation, it was just not possible for me to live up to it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just came from the supermarket just about an hour or so before we went online with you. And it was so great because I was standing at the shelf, and there was a woman who immediately felt like she could engage conversation with me because she could see that the choices of food that I was buying was healthy. And so she was like, oh, I also get this because this is so good for our health. And I said, yeah, and it's so good to actually see that it's organic. And in that moment, like, we both understood. We didn't have to say, oh, look, you know, we're making a win-win-wins choice, but there was a perfect example of, cool, you know, by buying and supporting an organic farmer, we are indirectly affecting all those other farmers who still aren't making that choice yet because there isn't sufficient people choosing to eat like that. And then obviously it's a wins for the planet because it's food that actually is giving back to the earth. It's not depleting the earth with all these, you know, herbicides and pesticides, etc. So yeah, I think if anybody does have any comments, feel free to put it in the chat box, and we can include you in the conversation.
Yeah, this is very much an interactive session. We're gonna just bring up the slide again, just to just make it clear again. This is the win-win-wins play, and like Nikki said, you know, it's been out there as people, planet, profit, which is something that has come up in the recent years, and it represents the same thing. Though what we are suggesting here is a more of a day-to-day checklist, like something that I can actually bring in my daily life. With the, you know, the people, planet, profit in this case would be, you know, for a corporate, the profit would be the I win. So I, as a company, the profit wins. Then the people win is the others win, and then the planet wins, the world wins. So it you know, it merges into the same model, but with people, planet, profit, it's very difficult for me as an individual in my day-to-day choices and actions and my lifestyle, my relationships, to apply it. So again, we're bringing it into the life skill context here. You know, this is a skill that, if I imagine our perfect future, you know, our children's children, our children, our future generations, they're just going to grow up with that they have this checklist that is so simple that I can ask myself, you know, with what I'm about to do right now, and, you know, or this relationship or this business deal or this friendship or whatever it is, like, do I feel like I'm winning, and do I feel like that they are winning? Or in fact, let me ask them, you know, are they winning? Do I know that they are winning? And what we are doing here, does it really serve the greater purpose? Is it really a contribution to the world, or is it a lose for the world in some way?
And I think something that's very interesting, when we were first coming up with this concept, we knew that it was related to the sense of win, right? This victory, like let's feel like we all are victorious, that we all are flourishing. That's why we say thrivers instead of survivals, you know, thrivors. But the final wins, like Toto said, it's infinite. And there's an interesting point to it, because actually, if you look at the Cambridge Dictionary definition of world, it says the earth and all the people, places, and things on it. And what's so wonderful about that is that it's all. So it's like, I've already said I win, others win, but now it doesn't impact other people on this planet. It doesn't impact other living things on this planet, and it doesn't impact anything. And yes, it's a humongous ideal. I mean, it's huge, but what a beautiful stand to make, that we can actually co-create this thriving world if we all started truly living in a win-win-wins way.
And we actually brought it into our shareholder agreement.
This is true.
So we're probably the first company in the world that has that in a shareholder agreement in that form, which is quite exciting to kind of pioneer that. And it literally reads, like, I'm paraphrasing here actually, because I'm not sure of the exact wording, but what it implies is that any shareholder that comes on board in future, you know, has to agree to the same win-win methodology, and the company is basically bound to uphold that ideal of living in that, or like operating in that win-win way, considering that the decisions that are made as a business are win for the business, as simultaneously that they are win for the people that are involved and for the rest of the world.
So yeah, I'm really appreciating that there's some people joining us in the Zoom room. So just saying welcome to Wayne and Maureen and Mag and Samambo and Maura Jane. And yeah, just to create some space, if you felt that, yeah, that you've been maybe even challenged, you know, with this idea of, how do I actually live in a win-win-wins way? Or just to look at the ways that we can celebrate this way of being. I don't know if I told you, I think I told you, I was listening to Ben from Unity Earth this morning, and I wish I could remember the guy's name. He's a really interesting man who was talking about a new form, like the evolved version of Christianity. And he was actually even saying that perhaps the 10 Commandments could have a little bit of an update, and that we could say, you know, love God, love the earth, and love each other, and love the earth. And so I found myself going, you see, it's just another version again of win-win-wins.
It's been there all along, really. I mean, we're, you know, especially now in World Unity Week, we're hearing from so many kind of ancient cultures that are bringing their wisdom into the circles, and it's there all along. You know, we used to live in harmony with nature. We used to consider nature in every step and in everything that we've been doing. I remember like a story from the Bushmen here in South Africa, where when they would go out hunting, they would actually go first and have a prayer as a community and pray to ask permission for or like a request. In fact, they were requesting food basically, and then literally in that story as it goes is that these animals would surrender themselves, and they would come to the hunters and surrender themselves. So again, instead of like, you know, taking, there was a consideration for the planet, a consideration for the holistic impact that it has. So yeah, I feel like it's been there all along. It's like this new thing, and actually it's this ancient thing, it's this old thing, when we're just remembering to come back to that. Yeah, I feel like you had a little story that I wanted to share from this week.
We were talking about sharing with you, and I was like, there's nothing really like owning your own process, and like Toto and I've said, it's an ideal. Win-win-wins is a really beautiful ideal to strive for and to action. And just this week, I was going through a real process. I'm sure anybody in business understands that when you sometimes engaged in conversation with people, we can have different reasons for it, but we don't necessarily behave nicely. And in general, I like to keep things reasonably light. But I noticed again this week that the moment somebody started doing the pointed finger, this isn't right, or you didn't do that, or that this fierce like warrior comes out in me, and then I'm like, really? Well, if we're gonna get personal, let's get personal. And then I just, in reflection, I can just own that I too, I just needed a little bit of a wake-up call to go, okay, cool, my behavior at that moment was truly not a win-win-wins. I thought I was winning by trying to get the upper hand in the scenario, but actually I wasn't, because I created so much energetic kind of displacement in my being that afterwards I needed like a real proper good chill out session to just like catch up with myself. And then actually, to restore that win-win-win state of being, I needed to take responsibility. And yeah, I had to like have a good conversation and restore the win-win-wins experience by saying, I'm sorry, actually, I was behaving like a lose-lose and hoping that the planet's still going to win while I'm behaving like a numpty. But I think actually that's a win-win-win state of being, is being willing to take responsibility and ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, 100%. Another like very common example, especially like in circles like these kind of circles where we are like really serving or working towards the greater good. What happens often, or what I've seen often, is that there's a personal lose involved, because we're giving so much of ourselves. We're wanting to help so many others at the same time. We're wanting to help the world, and we're really putting in like hours and hours and hours, and energetically, and the toll that it takes on our own bodies and on our own maybe private lives, and all these things to are maybe not considered at that status. And then it's actually, again, using the win-win-wins checklist. Am I winning right now? And really looking in the mirror and asking that question.
Well, it's personal. I mean, if I take myself back, I've been running a not-for-profit organization in South Africa for 17 years. And I can completely own, for a good 15 years of the organization's existence, I was totally playing lose win-wins. Like, I would do everything I possibly could to support others and to support our world, because I'm such a giant stand for it. But I was often burnt out. I was often ill. I would go through waves of like actually anxiety and maybe even borderline depression, because I was so focused on the outward that I wasn't actually keeping the self in balance. And it's real, it's impactful. Yeah, so we're going to be bold and see if anybody is willing to share in this circle and say, for yourself, how win-win-wins is in your life, or you would like to have it in your life, or can you see how this would make a difference in the world?
Yeah, if anyone likes to jump in or has any questions, we also we would love to put it to test, do you have situations where you think this can't work, or like it's too much of an ideal, or like you question, like whatever it is. Very curious to hear from you, because we are also just evolving and learning and putting it into practice and seeing how it all works out. And so far, actually, I mean, if anyone wants to bring something in, there's someone that just popped up on the screen. Hello, are you Marlene?
Good morning from California. You both are so luminous. Thank you for this presentation this morning. One of the things I love the win-win-win, to have that as our goal. And I really appreciate when you say we need to be win-win-win in the process of learning, because we're always learning these skills, whether it's something small. I remember years ago, I was learning to bring cloth bags when I got groceries. It was very common for them to just put groceries in plastic bags, paper bags. So it seems like such a simple thing to bring your cloth bags. But very often I wouldn't have enough cloth bags. I was always angry at myself. Oh, you're not doing this. It's so simple, Marlene. You know, I'm really beating myself up. And finally, one day I said, hey, I need to be nice to myself. I am learning, I'm getting better. And on that day, by being nice, my brain relaxed. And then I had a new idea, just to put all the groceries in the basket. Don't worry about any bags. Put them in the back of the car. But it was such a simple thing. But it did take me time to master it. So that having that love and compassion in the learning, in the process of it, to me is, very much the win-win-win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that actually brings in even the compassion with each other. I mean, Totes and I were talking about it, and it's like, sometimes we are unconscious. Like if my business partner this week, for instance, if I hadn't realized that I was being obnoxious, and then he had pointed out and gone, dude, you're actually being obnoxious, then I would have been able to take that feedback, and he would have been compassionate. So if we can do it externally, to do it internally for ourselves too, 100%. Yeah, beautiful. I love that reflection. Thank you, sister.
There's also another comment that came in here. Mac is saying, after my burnout, I learned to prioritize my own self-care. My own win is the most important. And yeah, it comes back to that, like, filling your own cup first. Though what's interesting with that is actually that I often feel like, it's actually by me focusing on others and focusing on the world, in the give, I'm able to fill my cup often as well. So it's also such a fine line, right? There's self-care for sure. I need self-care, take time for self, space, maybe just a hot bath and just switch off, whatever it is, right? And then
sorry, I've got something trying to come through.
Yes.
Ain't gonna happen.
And then also just focusing on the give, that also really fills my cup as well. And it's also an interesting thing, actually, because the win-win-wins do constantly remind me to include the give, right, in my actions. There's a giving in it by considering others and the world. That itself is like an energetic give already.
100%. And actually, we're in an interesting scenario here, Mag, because like I so appreciate with the burnout, particularly where I pushed myself so far in the past, I can see that I absolutely needed to refuel. And at the same time, I can see that there were pinnacle times in my life where it was actually some low times, and it was my give that actually gave me that joy. And I mean, a very real experience of it was I was going into hospitals and bringing joy to the children in the hospitals. But if I had focused first on feeling better before I did it, I wouldn't have done it. And I don't know if I would have felt better, but I would put all my stuff aside for just a little bit, and I would just show up because I wanted to be there for them. And the moment I was able to do that, I started to see the truth again. So all my nonsense that was making me feel so down and depressed disappeared for those moments. And I could see this truth, which is our human connection and our human ability to actually support and serve. And so I feel like we're in this really interesting dance with our world right now, because if we're all going to wait for us to be strong, and the best selves before we can see a better world, when we may not see a better world, because we've all got stuff that we're all still healing. So we're in this dance. I feel like we must take care of ourselves. And what if we could take care of ourselves and others and the world simultaneously? What if we could all make that commitment to dance with all three?
I'd love to, I mean, Marlene, you're still on screen here with us, so I'd love to ask you actually, do you see this methodology, this checklist not working in any case?
No.
What's
because really it's a destination. I'm understanding it as a destination. So as long as we understand, that's what we're aiming for. And again, I think the compassion for the learning curve. If we're beating ourselves up as we're looking for win-win-win. So as long as we keep that compassion and that love for the process of learning, then we're just going to get better and better and better, and closer to what we're aiming for. And I really think on the planet today, there's a lot of negativity, and whatever we focus on, we get more of, right? The energy attracts it. So by focusing on, I mean, I really like your framework. And again, I'm really thrilled to sharing it today.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, actually watching mainstream media nowadays is not a win for me. It's actually, it does not, like you said, there's a lot of negativity. So again, like in all those decisions, we can apply the win-win-wins, and actually then with that choose what are we consuming, what are we exposing ourselves to. And you're right, it's a destination toward, it's that highest idea,
that North Star,
and being compassionate with ourselves on the way.
It's very interesting. I have a rather cynical friend who heard, because this is also the name of the documentary, which we're releasing actually the trailer on Saturday. And so I've been sharing that with a few friends, and I was saying, the title of the documentary is Win-Win-Wins, and we're so excited about that. And he was like, we're really like, but why would you call it that? Because, if you think about it, people aren't going to, well, maybe they'd be curious about the name. But hang on, if you look at the world, it isn't like that. And I was like, well, what is the world like for you? And he was like, well, the world is definitely like some win and many lose. And I was like, 100%. That's our current reality. And like you said, Marlene, I think you said it so perfectly. What we focus on, we're going to get more of. So if we keep focusing on what's not working, we're going to keep getting more of what's not working. If we have this destination, this North Star that we can all collectively focus on and move towards by making wise, enabled choices that is beyond any cultural, religion, racial element, it just is a simple checklist. I win, others win, world wins. We may actually have something simple we can all check each other on. And then be compassionate, like you said. Be like, what was that? Just help me understand again. Oh, it was that. Oh, actually, I can understand it from your perspective now.
We also like realized that with win-win-wins, like when I ask myself the question, right, what would love do at any given point? Like when I'm faced with a decision, what would love do? So tuning into that highest space of like, what is the ultimate, best possible decision way forward here? That for me is like, what would love do? Ultimately, the further the care for everything. And so by asking myself win-win-wins, it actually equals a decision that comes from love in the ideal form, right? In the highest idea. And so for us, it actually equals love in action. It is love taking an action. I'm taking a win-win-wins action. That is love in action.
I love that, because I can immediately use your example of the shopping bags and see that actually the compassion immediately created a win-win-wins environment for you. And then you actually had solutions. And for me, when I'm in fear or one other of that kind of construct, I don't have solutions. I just have issues, So that love in action, that win-win-wins framing kind of creates a freedom, a space where solution orientation is. And it is active, because I can see my own stuff again this week and go, the moment I realized I wasn't actually making that choice, I could take responsibility and put love in action by expressing what I needed to restore that environment.
Yeah. So again, we'd love to hear from anyone else who likes to chip in. If you want to raise your hand or write something in the box, like we can even, like if you want to start your video, you can now, and then we'll unmute you if you want to join in the conversation. Yeah, I feel like there's something else that was just sitting with me. And it was around like this, having it as a, we brought it into our business structure basically. And yesterday we actually did a workshop on foundations for a thriving community, where we discussed a lot of like puzzle pieces that help, and win-wins for us is one of them, to create that thriving environment. And by bringing this win-win-wins even into an agreement between, partners in a community, friends, relationships, intimate relationship, to live up to that and have that agreement, then it's very easy to voice it when something is not a win-win, when there's a feeling of like, hey, hang on, what you just did, or what you said, or whatever happened right now doesn't feel like I'm winning, or I can see you're not well, like I'm seeing you're not winning, or we're about to do something that doesn't feel right for the planet, whatever it is, but it allows you to fall back to it and bring it up and voice it.
Yeah, like if Mag was part of our team, Mag, like maybe we would have been able to support you to go, whoa, there's a borderline burnout here, like, is it a win-win-wins? And then, in this way, we actually, it's a really beautiful accountability.
Actually, we had a chat with Ben earlier. He was going to join us. So we're going to tell you this now. We're launching this win-win-wins documentary very soon. And on Saturday, as part of World Unity Week, in room 1 at 9:30 EDT, we're gonna reveal this trailer. And we had this chat with Ben, and he's like, I have so much going on this week, and then on Saturday it's also like back to back, and he was really just asking if we could handle the tech for our session, and I was like, of course. And that for me was like another reflection of like him honoring his own win, like this, he's holding a lot and he's asking for help, and that's making sure that I win while he's serving so many others and the world. So keeping that in balance. Yeah.
So we're going to just create one more space for anybody who would like to still share, if there's anything else that's in the space for you around win-win-wins, or anything that you would like to even question. Feel free to throw us a difficult question if you got one.
Yes, bring them. Now I'm just going to share this. This is tomorrow.
Oh, it's so exciting. Tomorrow or Saturday?
Oh, sorry, on Saturday, yes. 9:30 a.m. EDT, exactly. And yeah, so we have practiced this win-win-wins way. We created in 2019 a 21-day human experiment, where we had 45 people living together in a tented camp in a previously disadvantaged community in a kind of township, you would consider, or like
we say marginalized communities in South Africa. Many of the sort of impoverished sides of the communities, the politically correct term, we say previously disadvantaged, because I actually like that. It's like affirming that you're no longer disadvantaged, that you're previously disadvantaged.
Yeah. So we created literally on that sports field in that part of the community, this tented camp, and it looked a bit like a circus. And we lived there for 21 days with these 45 humans, and we rolled cameras, and we lived in that win-win-wins way. That was our ideal, to live as a community in a win-win-wins way.
And really figure out what wasn't working. And when one of us did look like they were close to burnout or something, there was a group of people to go, dude, it's close. What support do you need? Because very often it was just the communication that was missing to enroll some support. But what a story, guys. What a beautiful story. What a story of unity. What an amazing experiment that proves that it is totally possible that we can be different genders, we can be different religions, different races, different cultures, but when we come together for a common good, to serve, to make a difference, we can get through this stuff. We can figure it out, and we can find a way to really support each other to live in a way where eventually everything will thrive. But for those 21 days, wow, it was amazing what we could achieve, what we were able to achieve. So yeah, definitely come catch us for that launch of the docu trailer. And I think Sumamba had a hand up. Maybe if you still would like to.
There was definitely a hands up, yes. Sumamba, do you want to jump? What is this? Expand. Sumamba, do you want to jump in?
Maybe didn't purposefully.
I don't know if you did purposefully inviting him there.
Hello.
Yes, hey, Samambo.
Yes. Let me see if my video can. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. There's something coming.
Hey.
Yeah. Hi. Donut
How's
Clear.
It,
doing awesome, and glad to be here today. Also, just to share. To listen to you guys, can say my mentors, and just to share a little bit.
Just tell everyone where you're from. Where are you right now?
I'm in one of the most beautiful spaces you guys can ever be in. It's called Corando, in one of the rooms called in the Dome House. So it's such an awesome place, beautiful place.
In Kenya.
In Kenya, yes.
Sure.
Yeah, and I wanted to share about the win-win-wins, maybe from my end, and about this place, because when I joined the Corando fraternity, thanks to Better Me, thanks to you, Toto, for creating this beautiful space over here. With the time, as interact with Thrivors and the win-win-wins, and I kind of realized there's a win for everybody at Corando, Kenya, because personally, there's a win for me. Whatever I do here, in terms of experience, in terms of just, there are a lot of life-changing experiences personally for me, because I look at 2017 way back when I joined this place, and I'm like, wow, so many things have changed. Yeah, for me, and even the people just around me, the people that I serve, the kids, because we work for, we serve the kids here in Corando, the overseas. You look at them and you're like, from whatever I'm able to do, there's also a win for them, you know. At the end of the day, I'm here also helping them. Then they also, like, there's a win also for them in it. And generally, at the end of the day, the bigger goal for Better Me here in Kenya is at least to try and mentor the next change agents, the next generation of future leaders and just beautiful humans out there. With all the things that we do here, you look at it at the end goal, and you look at the beneficiaries who have passed through this program, and you're like, wow, the whole world, like we've managed to touch from the eye perspective, the personal perspective. There's the child that comes into the program. Then when they graduate from this program, the whole community, because we try also to, like, when whatever we are doing is trying to evaluate, like to rise, to help the household at least rise from one point to the other. So it's kind of, I've come to realize, like, it's a win-win-wins at this place, and yeah.
Oh, beautiful, Samambo. Beautiful. And that is such an epic example of win-win-wins too. So, you know, it's not just employment, it's work that truly makes a difference, that hundreds of children's lives are affected by the work that you do. And that has such a huge impact on the world, because they can go out as the next generation, having been properly cared for, and yeah, just, such a beautiful example. Beautiful.
And that's also why the final win, you know, like it's not win-win-win, it's win-win-wins, you know, we're specifically having that S at the end, because it's multiple, it's like uncountable, it's infinite. We can't even fathom the ripple effects that our action can have, or our actions can have, when we focus on win-win-wins. Yeah. Thank you for that, bringing that in, Samambo. Yeah.
And truly, a better world does start with a better me.
Yeah.
And that echoes Mag too. You know, it's like we can take a little care of ourselves, and then we can ripple on, and we can keep making a difference for others.
Yeah.
So wonderful. And Chrissy, thank you also for joining us in the last few beats.
Lots of love to Kenya, Samambo.
Yeah, lots of love to Kenya. How precious, guys. This is I think the tail end of this workshop, and I think what I would definitely like to sum up with is that I am so inspired. I am inspired by what is happening in the world. I am so aware that there is the naysayers, but I am 100% on the yay-sayers front. You know, we are the people that are willing to focus on the ideal and co-create the ideal with every action that we take. And I really hope that you're inspired to just hold the checklist close, you know, and just have a look through the checklist. Like, am I winning with this behavior? Am I winning? Are others winning? And is the world winning? Another way to check is, am I getting hurt, or am I not winning in this? You know, the other way around. And if it is the other way around, then make the right choice, because this world is waiting for us to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're pretty much right on time right now. So is there any final questions? I can see there was one question of what led us to create this work of win-win-wins. And just summing that up now, it was just a calling. I actually don't know the little steps that led to it. It just happened. And I feel like we started to live in it before we even knew about this specific terminology that then came through this win-win-wins methodology.
Yeah, I can see can see a particular moment as an artist where I was doing upliftment in the hospitals, and then in the same day I was doing a voiceover. You know, we had this microphone in front of me, and I was reading the script, and the character was saying, really? You know, Bishop Tutu and the Dalai Lama has made a difference in the hospital by singing to children. Really, how different could that make? And I stopped right there, and I was like, I actually can't do this work, this paying microphone job. I can't do it anymore, because I realized that it wasn't a win-wins for me to be using my talent in a way that was actually putting a message that I wasn't aligned with. Yeah, and even though it was, as an actor in South Africa, paying job, I was like, it's not worth the money. And then it always comes around. I think when we make the wise choices, it always comes around, you know?
Yep, 100% it does. In fact, there was actually also another example of a friend of ours who also works in the film industry here, and he's taking on these jobs of like making film for alcohol companies, and eventually close the doors. And he's like, it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. And I feel like that's where it started maybe on our journey. It's like these moments where we realize, yeah, I'm winning here, and maybe this business is winning, but something doesn't feel right still. You know, there was something that was just felt off. And yeah, it crystallized in this methodology. Yeah,
I think we've come to the crossroads, guys, and if we want to see a world that no longer has fear, then we need to be the ones that choose love in action. And win-win-wins is just a simple checklist. So
yeah.
So just a reminder that tomorrow Saturday is a really big day, and
this is the win-wins one last time.
Win-wins is easy.
I win, others win, the world wins simultaneously.
Amen. And if you have a gap, please do come and join us on Saturday for an amazing milestone moment for us. We are super excited to bring this trailer, and the docu is coming. And feel free to go to thrivors.tv/docu and have a look at this mad inspired project that we are undertaking, so that we can affect win-win-wins for our world.
Yeah. Lots of love to everyone out there.
Thank you for joining us today, everyone. Thank you, Mag, and Samambo, and Chrissy, and our beautiful Malane, and Maureen, I think, and Steve. And everybody else on Facebook that catches this later as well. Stay well. Let's support this world to thrive.
Yeah. Yes, the win-win-win.
Thank you.
We actually have this little
Yeah.
hand sign now here.
Like
Win-win-win.
when you're underwater, you're like, it's all good. It's good.
It's a
and
win-win-win.
there's your checklist. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.